Welcome, Free Enterprise, to the second match in this round of 16 tussle between profcory and penguin8r. Penguin8r barely took the first game in a great back-and-forth race last night, giving him the advantage in this matchup, but I fully expect both of these runners to put on a great encore for us tonight. Joining me tonight, behind the scenes on restream duties, we've got Gambit. Handling the tracking for us is Plumeria Knight, and my co-commentator, help bringing all the action to you, is Neon Gray. How are things going for you, Neon?
I am doing great. We've torn me away from the 14 Fan Fest to watch a race that I think we've all been looking forward to. Game 2 here between penguin8r and profcory. Our number 3 seed and all-around great runner there, and penguin8r long-time top finisher at these. And, these certainly are some objectives, aren't they?
They certainly are. In addition to our traditional 3 objectives, we've got a couple of boss hunts. We're already going to be trying to find D-Mist, of course. We also have to try to find Karate Boss.
Yeah, honestly, I never really liked Defeat D-Mist as an objective, because you're looking for it anyway on these flags, so it's kind of a non-thing. Like, yeah, it can be hidden, but any specific boss can be hidden.
Right.
I am also hoping for Objective 4 on our currently tracked list here to come up, because we should all be friends with Golbez.
Yeah, but every time I try to befriend Golbez, he hits me with the virus, and then I'll live too.
Yeah. He's trying to play catch with you. You need to get a veil up.
Nice. Starting for us, we are starting with a Porum as well. Probably not the first choice when it comes to white mages for our runners. We'll have to see how they react. We'll also have to see who the second character is when we get started very shortly.
It's nice to have an anchor. Not really what I'm looking for in terms of getting off the ground, though.
I've been very public about my opinion of Porum. In terms of the white mage hierarchy, number 1 is Rosa, number 2 is Fusia, number 3 is a stack of Cure 3s in a trench coat, and then number 4 is Porum.
I like to play healerless, not just white mageless, straight healerless. So, I can and have taken Eddie on seeds where the best I had for him was a samurai bow and charm arrows over Porum. So I don't love her. However, I'm not in the top anything of this tournament.
I've seen a lot of great runners take a solo Porum and not much else and absolutely wreck the start of the seed. So I certainly expect both these runners to be able to work wonders with the little white mage.
Yeah, like, that's the thing about Porum. It's not that you can't get her to do a good job, because Porum can absolutely fill whatever role that you attempt to put her into, if only because she's got no other choice if you're doing that. But, it's that you don't want to have to.
Right, but as we are always finding out, necessity is the mother of invention when it comes to this kind of flag set. Looks like we are underway. We have it starting young, and if you don't like those characters, there's 2 more on top of the Tower of Zot, if you can get there. You've got the Earth Crystal to start with.
This is a classically weak start, because you have basically no stopping power with that Yang yet, and the Porum can't do anything. But that Earth Crystal start will be something that I think we're gonna see cashed in on. We're actually hoping for some kind of a J item out of the loot, in addition to gear for better characters.
That's absolutely correct. I mean, the best thing you could hope for in this situation might be a heroine robe and a decent bow and arrow for the Porum. I mean, if you find something that's good as a cat claw for a Yang, he still doesn't have the power necessary to do much more than an extra 30 or 40 down to this point in the seed. Looks like we're going to start out, however, with a check of Mist Cave. Maybe find a vanilla D-Mist here.
Yeah, not a bad idea. No, just a mile on Zed, though.
I think this is just clever routing on both our runners' parts. Instead, is on the way up there to go ahead and check that treasury. So might as well stop there, get that out of your way. Not worry about that. But I think we've got a game to play.
Yes, we do. It is time to not go into the treasury yet.
Well, start out with a great bow in the ultra treasury. That's a really nice pickup.
Yeah, not bad. In a different flag set, I'd be happy to see that that dragon whip because it sells pretty well. But everything sells for 0 on this flag set because our expert flagsmiths don't want you to have nice things. Now we're going into the treasury.
Bed sword, rune axe, crystal ring. Some nice weapons for people who aren't in the party yet. Power staff, if you want to do some interesting berserk strats. I think the best thing I saw there was crystal ring right now. I think an ice claw is situationally useful for the young as well.
Yeah, the crystal ring will do us quite well to start. Otherwise, yeah, defense sword on a root axe, that says to me we are looking for a cane. We were already looking for a Cecil. We're also now willing to accept a Cid.
I think the power of that treasury is all going to come down to the characters we can find early on in the seed. If we find a cane on Mount Hobbs, we are golden. If we can't find any of those really strong melee characters until later on the seed, we might have a couple of difficulties.
Yeah. A couple middle swords too, so we're not unhappy to see an edge. We'd want to see him anyway, just because he makes it guaranteed that we'll be able to get a grind later on.
That is true. You can always drop by the tower underground and grab some sirens if you want to spend the time doing that. Looks like penguin8r is going to go ahead and take a shot at Mount Hobbs here, see who's available for us. And profcory is right behind him.
Yeah, you know what? There's nothing quite like seeing people pick the exact same route to go really show you that's some great routing right there, because both of these runners, they know what they're doing. And Attila there, potentially a great find. See who is with him. Oh, that's fine.
Yes, that's definitely a very doable boss of this spot, especially if you've got a firebomb with the characters and decent HP levels. You're going to throw out some cures maybe to take advantage of the zombie status on these bosses. Shouldn't pose much trouble, and you'll have your own Swiss Army knife in the form of Tella.
So, not a lot to worry about here. That part I'm just gonna kind of sit there and look pretty. But
it's not the immediate infusion of power that we might be looking for. We're still kind of missing that early melee fire that'll definitely help clear out the early part of the seed. But I think between these three characters, both our runners able to make this work without much of a problem.
yeah, it takes longer than you like, but you get it done, and that's really what you want.
Absolutely, and penguin8r is going to take immediate advantage of that Tella and that early access to that exit spell to go ahead and loot the back of Mount Hobbs as well. See if we can find anything worthwhile. Soma Drop is exactly the kind of thing we want to find, as well as a coffin and a Stardust item. That's some excellent J items right there.
Yeah, that is absolutely what you want to find out of the back of Hobbs, and a full moon also, so no way Edge is in that seed.
So next up looks to be the Antlion Cave. Makes perfect sense to me. It's the weakest boss spot that does gate a key item, so it gives you a little extra experience, but also gets you your first potential way of opening up the rest of the world.
Yeah. With a party like this too, you generally want to go in close to vanilla order just because you need the extra power. And yeah, profcory is also taking the back of Hobbs here. Again, this is a pretty standard play if you've got a source of exit.
I think Penguin8r also spiked a Grimoire in his opening of the Lion chest. Sometimes people like to skip these chests. They're pretty underpowered, but that's a really nice find here. And another really nice find here is a free boss in terms of Water Hag. Normally you want the Water Hag in a more difficult spot, but you'll take any easy boss you can get right now, I think.
Yeah, this is just fine.
And not surprisingly, it looks like profcory is right behind Penguin8r at this point. Going to go right down Antlion as well, take his Water Hag fight after he does his inventory movement. We've got the ARG on Penguin8r's side. Water Hag is down. Got our first key item.
Yeah, let's see what we're going to get out of here. That's an Excalibur.
So I think this is telling me that the only Cecil available in this key is on the Giant.
We can't have no Kane, Edge, and Cecil. The character settings don't allow that.
Well, 2 out of our 12 characters will be taking the night off, so we all have 10. And if one of them is behind the Giant, you know, that might as well also be taking the night off. So it is entirely possible that we don't find any of them.
True.
Not that I would wish that on our runners, of course, but putting that out there.
profcory going out to take the back chests in the Antlion Cave and rewarded with a cursed ring, which is a great find.
Again, these are non-traditional chests, I think, to loot in this flag set. I see a lot of people try to skip these kind of chests, preferring to, say, loot Watery Pass or even Castle Evelyn. So finding a cursed ring there, especially because Penguin8r didn't find them, could be a great benefit for profcory. And the seed is like, well, you found one blue robe, how about the second blue robe? Take a alt gauntlet at the vanilla location for the regular gauntlet.
Well, I was kind of craving some ice cream, to be honest.
This is actually going to be a pretty fine location to find this, because we have a surprising amount of AoE damage for rather weak enemies. You've got a stack of floor rage to start out with, which is going to be enough to take care of these pretty weak enemies at the start of the game. You've got Yang to kick, you've got even just, you know, the level 1 spells on your Tello will be enough to do enough damage to a full party of you know, things like imps and the cognitrices here. So this is a fairly decent fight to take at this point.
Yeah, this is fine. You don't like this, but it's fine.
One extra benefit as well is it's going to be more experience as opposed to the normal level experience that you do get at this location. Since you are almost certainly going to have to go to Mount Ordeals next to get your Tele online, you'll definitely want to get as much experience as possible. You know, increase your HP on your Yang as well as his own power levels as well.
Kick coming out. Good old Kick.
You do love to see that. You so rarely get to use that power in Free Enterprise because it's so weak relative to the rest of your party's power levels. But in this situation, like I said, when you have weak enemies that you want to do a lot of AoE damage to, it's the exact perfect tool for the situation.
Yeah, any port in a storm.
Absolutely. A lot of Free Enterprise, especially at this high level, is adapted to your situation. We have an Adamant. That is a great find. It's half towards our Forge objective. So
but it's also not a useful find, because we can't really do anything with that yet.
Well, that is absolutely very true. I mean, we don't have a way underground yet to trade it in, even if we did have the Legend Sword. So we know that we still have some more looking to do on the Overworld.
Yeah, so I expect both of our runners are just going to proceed straight to our deals from here. It's here or or Baron in left available to us. I don't think we've got the levels for Zot. It's weaker than I think people give it credit for, the Zot slot, but we're still not there yet. We definitely at least want to get this Tela online.
Absolutely. If we can get the Tela online, get access to, all of his, later, level 3 spells, even though he doesn't have the greatest magic power, it'll still be a big jump in our power level to get that online.
Yeah, definitely. We want that. Because really, we don't have a lot else going for us.
We're taking a quick detour to do some shopping, but then continues along the way. We're going toward deals next, as we expected. Meanwhile, Corey has fought 5 out of 5 battles in the Gauntlet, going to be getting his Shiny Rock.
Yeah, we're just going to grab these 2 chests up along the way. Gets a Dwarf Axe. Again, that's a great find for those characters that we don't have yet, and we may indeed never have.
Interesting to watch the looting patterns of both the runners right now. I think starting out with the treasury kind of threw them for a little bit of a loop, because I think they're kind of looting places they normally wouldn't do. I think most of them would start with a more, looting the higher value places, things like the Watery Pass. I've seen a lot of Castle Ebon plays as well. So looting these places you don't normally do on a cheap pro flag set, I find very interesting.
I know Penguin generally does favor the older routes as far as that goes. He's still not so old as to be popping Baron first, but he does like to pick up chests along the way rather than going to the further out of the way things like the Watery Pass. And I know the big argument against the Eblan dives is, you're eating a lot of time on resets, even on a successful run there. So that does lead a number of runners to not really care for that.
Absolutely, it's sort of a high risk, high reward strategy to be used for sure. It's Pale Dim we find in the first slot here on our deals, given the fact that this spot doesn't have much punching power, and punching is all that Pale Dim does. This shouldn't take our runners too long to get through.
Yeah, like this is an incredible fight here. It's going to take a little longer than you'd like, just because of the slow, the constant slow counters, but, whatever. You'll live. You know your opponent's going through this exact same fight too. Looks like profcory is taking a fight on the way up.
This is interesting. I'm wondering what the strategy behind this one is. It's to maybe is Porum just about to learn a valuable spell?
She's got Cure 2 and oh yeah, he's getting Berserk 4.
It makes a lot of sense at this point then. Penguin8r is chewing through the about 2,500-ish hit points in this fight.
Yeah. The thing is, I am thinking about that going for Berserk play, and I'm wondering, just because, it is... Yang can replicate Berserk damage by, just by power-upping. It's slower. So I'm wondering how necessary it is, and because, you're going to win it, get it after the first fight anyway, as Penguin just demonstrated.
That is true, and Berserk will, of course, trigger the slow counters that Pale Dim will put out. Granted, Corey doesn't know yet that Pale Dim is the first fight here. So, I mean, given that it could be any number of fights here.
Yeah. But Yeah, I'm just thinking, because I think I like that play, but I think I like it better with a different primary melee. Just because Yang needs Berserk less urgently, I think.
So what Penguin8r likes is rolling a Bahamut from the Grimoire, taking out the Imps fight in the back attack spot there. That is an excellent roll. Yeah.
Yeah. Gets a Twin Harp, so we're still not heading underground yet.
Well, that gives us 2 more potential places that, aside from a regular...
and a second scoop of vanilla.
Penguin8r's opting to throw out the Berserk now and try to get this fight done before we hear all about Justice. I think he's going to do it.
Yeah, 500 a shot, that's... Oops.
Yeah, no problem there.
And he's showing off those vanilla speedrun strats and rearranging his inventory right now.
That's something you see a lot of top runners doing, and that's a very good skill to develop. Penguin8r is through Bonner Deals. We still don't have Russian Underground yet. Normally we would just say, oh, it has to be at the Baron Inn, but we have that Earth Crystal, we have the Twin Harp. We still could be on the overworld for a little bit longer.
Yeah, we'll see what likely Baron Inn has next.
Right.
Both those other 2 spots are higher level.
Yeah, we definitely want at least a 4th character, if nothing else, to give us a little extra power as we head into those more advanced overworld spots.
Yeah. Like, I think we're just likely to see like a full vanilla circuit at this point, unless this is our underground access.
Penguin8r hits a cursed ring in that first pot in Baron, so both our runners have that very important item in their inventory. It's very good to see.
That's Iridia. That's not very good to see, but...
I don't think we've seen any great summons for her yet. It could theoretically be one on Hobbs if we want to go back there. Or we could just decide to keep her as an anchor. We've got a note broken the second spot here at the end, though.
Well... everybody's favorite thing to find anywhere.
I mean, the good news here is that it is a very, very slow spot. And so we've had enough time to Berserk and Blink Yang. He's going to take Ogo down in a few punches. Corey, meanwhile, facing off against that back attack Dark Imp spot. Didn't get quite as good a roll as Penguin8r did with his Grimoire, but still did enough damage so that a few more punches will take care of business.
Yeah, very nicely done.
Penguin8r is through, and we don't have to worry anymore about where underground access is going from. That's the always wonderful to see Magma Key.
Yep, and I think here, this spot is where we're going to start seeing our first divergence, because this is really where the first time we've had an optional seed.
Right. Do we immediately take that underground, maybe do the checks in the Fey March and get the Sheila check online? Or do we feel comfortable now enough to do Zot or Twin Harp?
I'm not taking this party into Twin Harp. Are you likely to win? Yeah. Is it gonna be worth the time you put into it? No.
I mean, the rule of thumb that they always say is always check your objectives. But yeah, I'm kind of with you there. Right now, the only damage we've got right now is the Yang, and we can blink and berserk all we want, but it's still a pretty tough fight at that point, I'd say. Let's go underground. Let's do a little searching down there, do a little shopping, see what we come up with, and maybe by the time we come back overworld, we'll be more prepared to take that fight on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you always want to check your objectives, but only if the check is something you can reasonably do. And it is not reasonable for us to put that much time in it.
One thing that I am thinking about right now is we've seen a fair few of the so-called free fights already. We've seen Blood Hag, we've seen Dark Knight, we've seen the Imps. This might bode poorly for, say, fights on the moon that we might have to take.
Yeah, that could be very ugly. Of course, one of our objectives, should we find a Cecil, is free. But, that's should we find a Cecil.
Yes.
I'm wondering if this is a shop check or a key item check, though, here at Dwarf Castle.
Well, we're going up to the throne room first. We're going to see... Yeah, we're going to the Octomom there, and that's an immediate reset. So yeah, I think that might have just been a scouting. Yeah. A scouting mission there. Not even going to check the shops yet.
Yeah, no, definitely a fair cup there.
Corey picks up his third cursed ring of the seed. It's one of those things where you wish it wasn't sell 0, because those things sell for a pretty penny nowadays.
They really do. That's also why it's really great to find them in chests too, because, you know, you don't get a lot of money on these flags.
Penguin8r is opting to check these chests on the way down to the Fame Arch. They have some decent equipment because it's gated behind a key item, because they have to have something to get underground. And also there is a trap chest down here. Of course, as I say that, he's skipping all the rest of it after checking the first couple.
Yeah, that's a pretty common move. You'll see, like, covering, like, the first floor or the first 2 floors only. And, you know, if you find the chest, great, you just clean the place out after that. Otherwise, you just leave the bottom. That's not a key item in that chest.
That's, well, if we find a edge, decent weapon, we could also back rows him. That being said, I think the bigger prize down here are those sirens.
Yeah, that's a very exciting find. Yeah, Penguin basically cleaned himself out.
How about another cursed ring? This seed is just full of cursed rings. One more, we can have a full party curse.
I suppose that might be of use if we desperately needed to absorb some elemental damage.
One thing that I didn't point out earlier is that Penguin8r did pick up a Sylph Summon, as we see one of the guards fights, and we have Bahamut. That's
so free. That's so incredibly free. And he's
a
looking for a means of stopping that. He's got a mute bell.
Yeah. He's definitely going to give it a shot. If it's the officer fight, that's free, because you can just cough on the officer and let the soldiers take care of themselves. Also, if we can just get a Starveil up, we can probably get through the Bahamut fight as well.
Oh yeah, Bahamut here is so incredibly free. Just wait a bit and then pop them. And the timing is not going to let that go.
And now we have a bit of divergence. We do have profcory looking to go up here and turn in that twin harp. Of course, means that we're going to be getting one of our greatest memes here. We're going to be getting some randomized music very shortly. Always love to hear it.
Very interesting. We are bringing the other two up.
I suppose since we have so many curse strings, we don't really have to worry about keeping a low-level anchor around. So, especially now that we did find that Sylph summon, I can definitely see the value of giving Rydia some levels now.
Yeah. Like a curse string and a Tella, you're basically free to level however you please.
And there goes Bahamut. A nice 20,000 experience points in the bank.
Oh, losing that Yang, that's unfortunate though.
Just
all that for an elixir.
Yeah, really nice item to have in the back pocket, but probably not what you're hoping for. Meanwhile, once Yang goes down to this weak spell, we're going to pause for a moment and let's see what DJ Spoony B has for us tonight. And thank you, Dr. Luge, for interrupting our wonderful musical interlude from Final Fantasy II.
That is, of course, the town music from 2. Very nice little song there. And Penguin8r had a rough time against those guards. Still having a bit of a rough time as it happens. But this one seems to be going better to start out.
Yeah, this is definitely not the fight you're looking for when you see that guard sprite in the Fey March. You're hoping for the officers and the general fight because you can use your one coffin on the general, make it a free fight. You can cough with one of these guys, but then the other one's still going to be swinging very hard. You do have the mute bell and the mute spell in order to make sure that he does not, cast piggy or size on your characters, but he's still going to punch for a ton.
Yeah, but this looks well in hand now. Interesting he casts weak instead of stone here, but stone is a maybe on the hit, and a weak kill is guaranteed.
Yeah, weak is definitely the lower variance play there. Baron Key was the prize for completing the Twin Harp, so that's one more overworld location to find. Luca Key, we do find down here. That could potentially be a nice find for Penguin8r.
Yeah, very interesting. So this actually gives us the full circuit, where you got a nice proximity daisy chain from going from music to Zot to Barad. So this is basically routing itself for profcory here.
Absolutely, you could not ask for this routing to go any smoother for Corey.
Of course, that assumes it pays off, but just in terms of conserved steps, it's a classic for a reason. And as Pancras says in chat, like always with that Excalibur defense sword in hand, yeah, you want to upgrade this party. It looks like Penguin has the same plan here.
Penguin did not go down into the Sylph Cave and at least get the first Sheila check active either, so hoping to find a pans to make this make that routing go a little bit smoother for him.
Yeah, like he's got a fair few extra levels, so I think the Dr. Luge fight at least is gonna go a lot faster. But oh, that's a wyvern. That is actually a great find here on this spot. It is slow as molasses. Just get those star veils up and it will not quite kill it, because the magic power here is not great.
I'll say, speaking as well as having low speed, it's also low magic power because it's the Vega Sister spot. And so even double reflected Mega Nukes isn't enough to take it out, but it was close. I think it's only about 8,000 hit points here.
Yeah, and he's profcory's just gonna provoke another Mega Nuke. Penguin showing off that invisible bridge to that chest.
And as Corey is going to give us a...
Oh. Okay,
we're back. Yeah. And Corey's going to give us a look at who the characters are. We're going to get a wonderful reprise of that really nice music for Final Fantasy II on Penguin8r's side. Wonderful music there, and as long as profcory's internet can hold out, he does show us we do find a paladin up here on the tower. Great find to go with that Excalibur we've been holding around.
And it looks like we are going to be swapping our restream briefly, so we are going to go down in a second for just a second or two. Okay, and I do believe we should be back. I just need to refresh here.
There we go. Thank you for keeping with us as we have little, fix the internet here. And there we go. It looks great. Profcory is through the tower with his new characters. Penguin8r is through the Dr. Luge fight on the Twin Harp. Both our runners are making very good progress.
Yeah, this is a really nice find here on the characters. We got a Cecil to use that Excal and a Pelham. Only other award for that is a white shirt. However, just the fact of getting that Cecil alone, I think, still makes the play well worthwhile.
Absolutely. The Cecil get there was the real key item.
Yes.
Penguin8r is following in profcory's footsteps going up the tower. He has the slight edge, having also cleared out all the Fey March. Cory has not gone underground yet, so that's where the difference in timing goes right now. It's still really, really close.
Yeah, so the real question here for Penguin is there value in Luca? Because that's where he gets an advantage. If there's not, then it's just another key item on his pile. And that itself can be useful, just getting you one closer to 10. But, he wants that to have something.
That's true. I also think there was a benefit of doing the Fey March there because it did get him a bit more experience. Got through the Luge fight faster, will get through these fights faster. I think it will be a net plus in terms of time spent for Penguin8r.
Yeah, definitely. Still takes a while though, just that time could have been Sirens. But
No, that's right. We will see obviously at the end how it turns out. Cory does get through that the Dark Elf fight that we saw early on, and now goes on to see who's actually on the throne. Penguin8r had a little bit of an issue with that Wyvern fight, is going to go ahead and drop his battle speed down to Wyvern Saturn time, and we've got a Valvalis on the throne.
looks like she and Kainatsu just did a swap. So I'm gonna call that Chocolate Fudge Ripple.
I like it. This is a relatively nasty spot for Val to show up. Val gets the full bash defense when she's spinning, and also gets a fairly hefty chunk of physical defense added on as well. So when you don't have a cane to break through the spin, you might have some issues. That being said, we do have the next Cal Cecil, so I still think you're going to be able to get through it.
And we also have Chekhov's Soba Drop coming into play here. He has queued up a Meteor on that Tella. Meanwhile, Penguin is through on that Wyvern now.
One other interesting side effect of having Cecil be really the only, we see the Meteor miss because, like I said, the magic defense here she gets full magic defense. No, I was going to say was that one of the side effects of having Cecil being your only melee character here is that you've got a whole bunch of strong physical defense items that only he can wear, whereas normally you'd also have to go through, Dolok, maybe Kane, maybe even Sid. So he had a lot of defense there that was helping cover. But as he found out, that's a really, really surprisingly nasty spot to find Val, and just couldn't get through it. So we're going to reset, go underground.
Yeah, I do not blame him. We do, it turns out, have the full 255 MDef at Kainat, so even the Meteor misses. Penguin, I think, has a better chance of getting through on that fight. He's got higher levels on the whole, so I think he's likely able to get through on that Val's, evade.
Right, I mean, for all the buffs that Val gets when she's spinning, she still will only have about 4,000 hit points at that location. So if you can have enough strength with the Excal Cecil, and even with the Yang at this point having a good number of levels, you can probably punch your way through it as long as you can keep up with healing the weaks.
Yeah, like, this is really a fight where the number of hit multipliers you get is better, and he should have more.
Meanwhile, Corey's going to make his first stop underground. He's going to be stopping at Dwarf Castle. We'll see if this is just a shop check, or if he is also going to be, like Penguin8r, taking a peek at the first boss. He knows the second boss is the vanilla Golbez, since he did see Golbez up on the Tower of Zot.
He looks like he's prepping for a fight, so... But knowing what we know, that's Octomam in the first spot, Excal Cecil is not the tool for that job. At least when you're not hideously over-leveling.
That's right. Octomam, in a sort of a weird turn of events, winds up being strong against Holy, and sure enough, that Excal is a holy weapon.
Yeah. It's a function of the way the resistance system in this game works, is that, in general, adding weakness to something, like, say, Cecil's Dark Sword, so the Dark Element, to basically make Cecil look better early game. It will also add a weakness or a resistance to the opposite, so making the Octomam weak to darkness makes it resist Holy. Absorb Holy, even.
Yes, you learn that Octomam absorbs Holy the first time you try casting White against it, and hopefully not the second time you cast White against it. I think I'm up about 4 times now. I always seem to forget it in the middle of a race.
And then you learn it, and then you learn Meteor is Holy Elemental when you try and cast that on it.
You have to love that. You wait all that time, have Fu or telecast Meteor, and all you did was just heal back all the damage you did.
Yep. And yeah, like, Cecil's doing decent damage still, but that's still half of what he should be doing. And you hate to see it, folks. Very nice move there, giving Cecil that white shirt from Zot. It's easy to forget that he can equip the white mage gear, but it is fantastic.
No, that's absolutely true. It's one of those extra little flexibilities that Paladin Cecil has in terms of equipment.
Yeah, because especially late game, you know, like when you're going into the Zed fight, magic defense is the only defense that matters there.
Or he does get through that Octomom fight. We'll get to the Vanilla Golbez fight in a second after seeing what character is available.
That's not who we wanted to see.
Sorry, Edward, it's probably a little late for you.
Edward is a character
That is accurate.
that I'm not averse to using him under a lot of circumstances, but this is not the flag set for him. Now, start us off with an Edward on these flags. I'll slap a bow on him and use him until, you know, the party fills up. We need to make swaps, but... oh, no.
Ori is showing off one of the clever things about how the game works out priority involving statuses. Being poisoned makes you a higher status than being held by the hold gas, which means that if you are poisoned, which you just did, it'll prevent the hold gas taking place and let you take turns while Golbez remains monologuing like a good villain.
Yeah. And, you know, as Mr. Bus Driver points out, another advantage of this is that the poison damage could very well kill Porum. Like,
Still have time to get a Berserk off, though.
a great advantage there. Oh, leaves him with 190 hit points to spare. But Yang finishes that job.
Penguin8r gets the bad news about Val, and you can see that even the Cecil on the back row there isn't enough to get through the spinning defense. This is a really, really tricky spot. You don't really think about this as a difficult location. I bet you neither of these runners would worry about anything that was on this throne at this point, because I think normally the worst thing you see here is a wyvern that just ambushes you and forces you to reset back out. I don't think they were expecting to have this much trouble with Val at this point. I know I wouldn't were I running the seed.
Yeah, like that Cecil, maybe if he were in the middle, he might have the accuracy he needs to chip through that. And that's a hook from Dwarf, and we are getting to see Poison Walk again. Hero of the people, profcory, giving us Poison Walk.
Well, the hook is way towards trading with Pinktails. Also, another character check if our runners want to go down the cave there. And it will also be a boss check, because we are still missing Demist. We are still missing Karate. It's entirely possible that they are stuck in that hook route that we have so far avoided.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll see anybody go to that King Queen Emblem spot anytime soon, but we'll very likely to do that shop and character check.
Credit to Penguin8r, he is sticking this fight out, even though he's only doing 200 to 300 damage a swing, it looks like, and none of his spells can get through.
Yeah, he's not in real danger here, but boy howdy, you know, you hope there's value here. As if Barrett is a dead check, that's not good.
Yeah, so on Penguin8r's side, you would have done the entire Fame Arch. You would have now spent a lot of time on Valvels, and if this does not pay off, you've done 3 relatively long fights that were not necessary at the time, and all you would have to show for it right now is a Luca key. That would be a really, really bad feeling at that point as a runner.
Like there had better be something here, or at Odin, or ideally both.
Corey's going to be taking a look. First off, finds the Sirens in the shop there. Always good to see. And we'll be taking a look at the Feymarch himself, and I'll bet you he will also be tempted to take on these bosses at this point. And with the levels that he's got here, probably have an easier time of getting through that guard fight if he so desires.
Yeah, definitely. There's no way you don't just dive right into these. Like, these are so free. They're so very free. And yeah, to answer in chat, there are about 4,000 hit points at this spot.
Normally, this spot doesn't have much in the way of defenses, and so 4,000, usually by the time you find the Baron Key, is nothing. But as you see, just increase that defense a bit, take away your ability to cast spells, and that's a large, large number.
I am gonna assume the only Cane of the Seed is past this check.
That would just be the dagger to our runners. When you slog your way through a really nasty Val, and then you immediately get the cane.
Hi guys, what's up?
Am I late?
Where were you 20 minutes ago when I started the fight?
God, I hope it's not 20 minutes.
You've been here for a while.
Yeah, profcory tried the stone cast on the Tell, getting him manipulating him so that he was the first out on that fight. Unfortunately, the stone spell is a notoriously low accuracy spell and it missed, but I think he's going to try the same tactic again. Eventually it will work. Speaking of working, penguin8r is finally through.
Oh, wow. He has cleared that bell, and boy, you hope it's worth it. Who's here?
That's a foo. I don't care what else is here. I'd say that's probably worth it.
Who's here? Who's here?
I mean, I thought about who to replace with foo. Looks like it's going to be the Palom, keeping the Hela in the party. Normally it's the foo for Tela swap, you see.
Yeah, but fair cop here. This gives him an option for a lower anchor, though slap a cursed rig out of foo, and I'm a happy camper. But either way, that Pala was a pretty new entry to the party, so there's not really much investment lost. And profcory does get the Stoat off.
Yes, and that's though you probably doesn't know about that. It's a pretty big time pickup compared to how penguin8r did that fight. Gets that Luki out of that fight. We'll have to see if that is value or not. It is a pass in the trash can at the bottom of Baron Hanger. Not progression, but you'd never hate to see that.
You don't, but frankly, I think maybe trying to think of it in my head, that may well have eaten up any time gain for doing it. So there's really got to be something of value in the Odin spot for this to have been worth it.
It also is possible that we will get into go mode without finding the darkness crystal, so that could wind up being our way to the Zeromus fight. That's not
very
likely,
true,
but it's possible.
Yeah, and as Pancrez says, and I was thinking right as I left my mouth, that gaining that foo will also make up a lot of time, unless there's an easier foo, which we haven't seen yet. So.
Right, and I don't think we've seen any duplicate characters yet either. I think on this flex we're guaranteed 3 dupes, so there is possibly another foo out there, but probably not.
We don't get to use that nuke yet because that's a CPU.
Interesting spot for it. You never hate seeing the CPU fight. You can always take it because it only does percentage damage. It's just a question of how fast. Well, it's a question of how fast you can chew through CPU's hit points. decent amount of sized hit points here. It's gonna be about 17,000 based on that heal cast. And of course, since it's using wall, you won't be able to use spells on this fight either. So it might take a while, but you can get through it.
Oh, we're seeing one Meteo go up. Are we gonna see two Meteos go up? Oh, we're seeing two Meteos go up. I think chat's a little bit ahead of me, so I'm gonna refresh.
I don't know if I've ever seen back-to-back Meteos. That'd be an excellent use of both your Tella and your Fu.
Hey, it's the Zenith special.
profcory gets through the Bahamut fight as well, gets that elixir, warps out of Fame March. She can cross that off. That's been done. That's one of the nice things about seeing a Fame March like that, is that even if it isn't exactly what you're looking for in terms of key items, not having that hang over your head as you go into the later parts of the seed, wondering should I go back there and fight fights I passed previously, is just a bit of a relief as a runner.
Yeah, and oh, we don't get the kill there. We're punching it as fast as we can. While profcory does follow up on that Luca key. And we're through. Oh, that's value.
That is the Darkness Crystal. It's more likely than not it's going to be required. So that is a great find.
Yeah, the very interesting thing there is, yeah, because our pass is a Baron object, like, you have to do that no matter what, to complete the Zorobas fight. Or to get there, even.
True, either you fight that first fight and go up to the throne room, or go over towards the Ode spot. Either way, it's going to give you access to Zoroma's fight.
Yeah, and it means that unless there's a cane at Sand Ruby or package, and we can get a Sand Ruby or package... Oh wait, or there's the hook, But unless there's a cane at one of those three spots that we have, and we get access to it, that's going to be an ugly fight no matter what.
I mean, technically speaking, you could fight the Dark Elf fight there in the first spot, and then instead of going to the throne room, just go across to the Odin spot. You don't necessarily have to fight the throne room at that point. I would recommend doing it. It would take quite a read, or a lucky guess to do that at this point, but it's possible.
Yeah, and that Luca key has legend, so that is value as well.
And
Leviathan is an ugly fight here.
We're not making it easy on our runners in terms of this fight location, that's for sure.
Like, this might be, like, the spot where Leviathan is worse than Ogopogo. Like, you don't have the 50% hits, but you've got replaced the physical hits with the Ice 2s. And this is the highest magic spot in the game. And
it would also be a problem.
That cursed ring on that Tella means cure 4 is for 50 double digits. That's amazing.
Penguin8r's following right behind, going down through Luca Cave, and because he's got that Fu, this fight's going to be a lot easier for him.
Yeah, this will go very quickly with some nukes. But yeah, those Ice 2s are going to one-shot that party. To answer in chat, Hook was at Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare to see a level 2 spell come out from an enemy and it does 1,600 points of damage for you. That just shows what kind of power we're dealing with here.
Yeah, like the real power shown there is actually in the cursed ring, because that otherwise, without proper anchoring on that spot, that's just ugly.
Oh, absolutely. There are some fights there that you cannot get past if you are not properly anchored.
Yeah. Like, one of the races that, contributed to me getting knocked out in the first round, there was a wyvern at that spot, and not what you wanted to see there. I had played fast and loose on my egg rig, and I spent 40 minutes to avoid it. I lost. So always anchor properly, kids. Ooh, microwave noodles.
Yeah, there's the power of that nuke coming out. That's going to improve how this fight goes. And I don't know what that Sussel's rocket only have taken 140 damage from the ice too here, but whatever it is, I'm sure Penguin8r's happy he has it on.
That's the white shirt.
That would do it. That's got so much magic defense on it that would absolutely do it.
Yes. Cash that out. We're gonna see what's in this shop. Maybe the most exciting part of this whole check. Oh, and he's got an Aegis shield on too, so that's even more magic defense. And elemental protection from a crystal hat.
A Stardust Rod, a Protect Ring, another Silver Apple, Defense Sword, I think it was as well. Some really nice stuff and some really expensive stuff as well. And when money is a premium at these this flag set, I'm not surprised for him passing at this moment on all that stuff.
Yeah. And profcory looks to be doing underground cleanup. Gonna do Sheila 1 at the very least. Right. Maybe Keyless Tower, but I think we probably see that faded.
Yeah, we still haven't found that pan, so I think it's time to go ahead and get the first item from Sheila, at least, by going down here and saying hi to Yang.
Yeah, we're just wrapping up these loose ends before we go to the moon.
Trying to think if there's anything else for profcory to do. The only other thing that he really do before finishing up Baron Castle is seeing if there's anybody interesting down in the Cave Emblem with the hook, and I'll check the shops there. But I don't know if there's really anything that really pulls me to want to do that at that point if I was in this position.
Yeah, the only thing that I can really think of that I might want to find, and honestly, I don't really have the cash reserves on hand to really be on fire to do it, but the only thing I'm really looking for at this point that it hasn't been found is maybe wine. Hourglasses, we haven't seen. Those would be nice. But they're not really urgent. Oh, vanilla pan.
Yeah, well, the double dip Sylph Cave was reality. So down we go again.
Yeah, and look, that's our 4th scoop of vanilla. Look at this routing from our rudders here. We've had one minor divergence that we've reconverged on, and we are back to being just rubber banding around each other.
That's absolutely correct. I think the only difference is Penguin8r hasn't done Dwarf Castle. Looks like he's going to do that right now. Corey still has the Baron checks hanging over his head, but otherwise, I think we are on lockstep.
Yeah. This is really cool to see. Right, because profcory does not have that darkness yet. Right now, he's very much hoping that he does not have to go through that Vel to proceed, which he absolutely does.
Interesting. It looks like Penguin8r has opted to fade the Dwarf Castle check for the moment. Unfortunately, we know that there is value down there with the hook. Hopefully, that's not going to be a issue later as we get the seed for him.
And that's Plague, which I think is our last remaining Lunar Sparkle.
Yeah, I think we've seen them all right now, so that's the last one. Penguin8r is returning to get the pan. profcory is going to be high-fiving him while he returns his pan. We'll see what the second Sheila item is very shortly.
Oh, and that's the rat tail.
Well, we can... profcory can turn that in immediately because he's got the hook. Penguin8r will get that rat tail and not be able to do anything with it immediately because he still has to go through Dwarf Castle.
Yeah. Now this may mean nothing. There could be no value there. But there could be value there.
True. Now, I mean, we still have to find one of Demist and Karate. I mean, there's no way around that. That's definitely going to have to be done in order to beat the seed. And given the fact that we haven't seen either of those bosses yet, you got to assume that they're going to be at least one that has to be on the moon. I mean, it could be the dream situation where they're both on the giant.
Yeah, but I would not bank on that yet. Like, right now, because there's still, because there's still a pink tail objective out there, I like the Penguin8r's still not running to start face-checking everything on the moon, but I'm really wanting to head up there.
Are you tempted to do Keyless Tower first? Neither of our runners have done that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's something I like to have done before I do Moon, if I'm not doing early Moon. Because it's one of those things where it's like, you just don't want to have it hanging over you.
It would also give our runners a little bit of extra information, since we do see the second hook boss when we do the tower. And neither of our runners have seen who that boss is yet. So that'll give us a little extra knowledge. If that is one of our required bosses, then we know we do need to go down the hook route.
Yeah. Oh, rat into pink.
And we immediately trade that in for an Avenger. Oh, that's a really nice grab.
Yeah, I am thrilled with that. profcory probably less thrilled, because as he narrows things down, he's realizing that things are starting to clinch around that Baron.
That's true, but I mean, he's gone through both the fights in Fade March. He's gone through Luka Cave. He's got more experience. He's going to probably, it looks like he's going to be doing a couple egg grinds here, try to get a little experience. And once you get enough experience on your guys, you'll be able to get through Val with little issues. So it's just a matter of the time at this point. Once we get a few more levels, heck, I think right now you probably have enough levels on your characters on that the Cecil with the Excalibur, and you can trade in for the Avenger to get through that fight right now. So I don't think it's going to be an issue for too much longer.
That's very true. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, and he's well over 10 now, so now's just a good time in general to grind.
The situation is the same for Penguin8r. He also just got the 10 key items. Even though he can't turn that rat tail, he still has the extra one from the Darkness Crystal. It looks like we are heading moonward for Penguin8r. The question is, how do you approach this moon? You're still looking for two bosses, and you're still looking for the hook and the pink tail, although now we know that they are located on the ground. Do you go through here face-checking bosses, or do you actually go take the time and clear it out? And then if you do choose to clear it out, do you go top down or bottom up?
That's a tough one. I need 2 key items. And I also need 2 bosses. Like, I think I just start clearing through these. That's an edge. That's a nice find.
That is an interesting dilemma. Do you take the edge now? I mean, right now you've got Yang with a good number of levels here.
Yeah,
Oh,
Porum's done.
you still have Porum. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for your service, Porum. But you can go ahead, take the rest of the night off.
Yeah, you did good. You did great so far, but I don't really need healing anymore.
So again, now your penguin. The other question is, you still need a decent number of levels. Do you go ahead and do that, or you say that looking at your required bosses, both Demus and Karate, you don't necessarily need a lot of levels to beat. You hopefully find those in some high experience locations and use them as your grind.
Yeah, I've got 10. Then yeah, I start at Ribbon. But it looks like he is going to hit Bahamut first. Probably might pop his sirens here.
Yeah, absolutely. You get the Gold Dragon fight if you use the sirens on the second floor or the third floor. I don't know if he has any hourglasses. I didn't see if they were in the Hummingway cave or not.
I am not sure. I don't think he went to that shop.
Doesn't look like he's interested in the grind fight. I think he's going to take a look for us at the very least and finds the Magus Sisters fight.
Oh, wines were in Hummingway.
It looks like we're opting for just some hourglassless, if that's even a word, Gold Dragon fight.
Yeah, with both Attila and a Fu. An hourglass is a nice to have, but not important.
Right. You have enough levels, enough hit points in this party to survive a couple of attacks here. So, absolutely this is completely doable.
But right now, with that Pinktail find from profcory, penguin8r is really very much hoping to find both bosses on the moon.
Interesting side effect here of having penguin8r gotten through that Val fight at Baron, but Corey not be able to do that is that penguin8r has a much stronger party composition at this point, in my opinion. Looking at how Corey has committed to a grind here with that Porum in the party, with Pal in the party, I think he would rather have the Fu and the Edge given the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? That party will get a job done.
Oh, absolutely.
And frankly, even swapping a Fu over a ground Porum is, I think, fine. Prepping with a Rune X on that Cecil to start before swapping it on Avenger over a nice move on penguin8r's spot. Oh, we're just going to Berserk him.
And profcory, I think this is going to take you up to, he's going full nuke on Palom right now. He's up to level 52. So
yeah.
This should be the end of the grinding session for Corey. Of course, as I say that, he just popped another one. Must make it double sure. I guess you do have some HP issues if you're trying to get to the absolute end game stage here for your Porum and your Palom. They do have a slightly lower HP totals than you would hope for end game characters. But one more siren, we're good to go.
Yes, and Lustpriver thankfully reminded me that the Avenger was from Pinktail, so here he is just casting Berserk like some sort of animal.
Corey is parked outside of Baron and is saying, "Hey, Val, remember me? Got a surprise for you. About 30 more levels."
Yeah, should be much more doable now.
penguin8r does get through the Mega Sister fight without terrible difficulty. That's really well done.
Yeah, like this is a great spot to find Mega Sisters. Zeus Gauntlet, sure. I mean, he can't not take it because he took some XP down here, but
I mean, I'm absolutely happy to take that and put that on my Cecil there, but yeah, not the progression he's hoping for. You know, obviously, of course, we know the progression is not going to be on the moon, except if it's a tower key, because we don't know where the tower key is. That could lead us to one of our required fights.
I mean, progression could very well be on the moon because we still have 2 bosses unaccounted for. But yeah, the fact is he's banking a lot on fading that Golbez at Dwarf.
We shall have to see if it pays out for him. It is certainly a fascinating difference in strategy here that we'll have to see just what happens.
Yeah, like if he gets both bosses here, then it pays off, is the big thing.
You know, Corey is through that first Dark Elf fight, no worries whatsoever. Going to be getting ready for the rematch with Val. I'm 100% sure it's going to go a lot differently than the first time.
Yeah, this is likely to be more disappointing than you'd hope for in terms of damage, but still should not be that bad.
He is going to get a foo out of it. I'll be interested to see if he chooses to trade anyone out for that.
With curse strings, absolutely. You just swap in that foo over that Tella, and you've got a 5 agility anchor when you need, and you've got a foo when you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. That's you don't need to keep a low-level anchor when you have a curse string, much less, I think he's got 4 right now.
Yeah. Oh. Getting rid of the Yang.
That is interesting. That's not what I expected him to do at all.
Yeah, I guess that we're just going like pure reflect after this. There's our Mist Dragon.
That's a big find for Penguin8r. I think this is in the White Spear altar he went first.
Yep.
This is exactly what you want to see.
Fantastic find here for Penguin. Meanwhile, profcory is about to get his pass.
I'll have to bet he's going to stick around and go ahead and take care of the Odin spot as well. He certainly has the power to do it.
I don't think there's a chance that he leaves yet. To answer Ryudo in chat, the fact is, it is 1 key item check. He's still got another boss check after this, and he's got multiple key item checks in close proximity. Right now, no. I don't think there's any way he leaves yet.
Meanwhile, Penguin8r is continuing to fight the D-Mist. This is quite a punchy spot, especially for some of these lower or lesser armored characters.
Yeah, and that's Cecil being stuck with the not stuck with, but using the Xcal there is not what you want to see. Using a succubus to transfer Cecil's MP to somebody who actually will use it, that's always great.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those fights you wish you could just berserk everyone and try to speed things up because of that mist phase where he just becomes untouchable. You have to manage the fight a little bit more manually than that.
Speaking of just berserking everyone, we're going full YOLO on that CPU on profcory's side.
I mean, you have so much damage output there, and as we found out, I think this location has about 17,000 hit points. You're going to chew through that by the time CPU gets. Well, you got one Globe 199 out. We'll see if he gets the second one out. Even if he does, if he just revive the orbs, it won't take too much longer, and he doesn't even get the chance to get a second one out, and he'll get his Darkness Crystal.
Yep, he has gotten that Darkness. Meanwhile, Penguin gets a spoon from that White Spear altar, which is, if you're looking for stuff for that edge, I think you'd prefer Hanzo Steel, but a spoon is fine.
A one-time dart of most likely quad 9s is certainly good for the Z fight or any other fight you feel like you need that power.
Yeah, this will do great for his levels, this fight here.
Yeah, you wish you knew about this fight before you did it in grinding, because this is a free 200,000 experience points plus bonus if you do life glitches, so absolutely.
Yeah, he's weakening. My guess is we see a couple life 2s on this.
Interestingly enough, both our runners seem to be fading.
Just a life 1 grind.
Okay. Yeah, both our runners seem to be fading that keyless tower check. As I mentioned before, it's a chance to check 2 bosses, and when you're missing just the boss hunts, it seems like even more reason to go ahead and give that a shot.
Oh no, that timing. Oh, but he gets the life 2. Oh no, that was a life 1.
It's still a whole bunch extra experience.
Yeah.
And he already did take, I think, just 1 gold dragon fight. I don't think he did more than that. So he really doesn't need much more experience on these characters to get them ready for the end game.
Yeah. He took the 1 siren in Bahamut, yeah, and then just stones the rest off. Good pile of levels there.
Almost 300,000 experience points for that 1 real easy fight, and of course, 2 free key items. There's your tower key and a coffin.
profcory also going to Bahamut first. Well, Penguin is going to face Checo Lopogo.
At this point, you've got the pass. You're down here already. You really don't want to come back. So you definitely don't want to even bother checking the tower key at this point. This is clear it out, complete it, and then do whatever else you need to do down on Earth kind of way to play.
And yeah, just reset out of that. You're not looking for a key item from the moon at this point. You are straight face checking.
Well, penguin8r still is looking for both the hook and the pigtail. I mean,
he is not looking for the pigtail here.
Well, if karate is not on the crystal sword altar, he might want to go back and clean those things out just so he never has to come back here again. I mean, we know he won't ever have to come back here again, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely even if he leaves that spot really hangs on him. He's got a couple key items here already. He's got enough checks to worry about if it comes to key items. So right now we're looking at face checks. That's not it.
So unless it's at the the Murasame altar at the top of the moon here, which looks like he's warping out, so he might be checking that. Looks like we might have to dig a little bit deeper to find the karate fight.
We are leaving the moon.
Now we do have that tower key, so we can complete the tower and check 2 and 3 bosses actually, because we will see the hook boss there. He's the second hook boss. Meanwhile, Corey's going to give us what Penguin8r didn't and give us a check of this altar.
If this turns out to be karate... And it's not.
The Mylon fight, so we still are looking karate. Meanwhile, Penguin8r is going to show us what Rydia's mom has. A really nice black magic stick.
Well, profcory will like that. Except I don't think he goes down to check that, because as soon as he gets that Mist Dragon, he's ready to go. So, if profcory is just doing the straight top down, that's Pengu's timer.
Penguin8r, of course, still also has Dwarf Castle that he has been fading for quite some time, and of course we know that would give him go mode, so...
Yeah, the problem is he's definitely just looking for the boss right now. And he knows the identity of both those bosses, so that's trouble.
Yeah, because if he's just laser focused on finding the karate fight, if it's not here, what's left? The hook route, package, and giant.
I just realized something that you could do in a situation like what he's in right now. Run up to the tower key room, unlock it, poke your head in, head out. That is King Queen Evelyn, that is Rubicant.
So that's two more bosses where boss spots that karate cannot be now. The Penguin8r will take this fight, and why not? It is the freest of free fights.
Yeah, and because really he does not know how tight of a clock he is on this.
And meanwhile, Corey is running down here now. It's just a question of which fights Corey will take in which order. If he's he's not. Well, I shouldn't even say that because he is in pure face check mode. He's going to check all three fights. He's going to find D-Mist very quickly, and he's going to be good to go.
Yeah.
Penguin8r earns the easiest 62,000 experience points he will ever get. There's a package. That's just going to be reset, apparently.
Yeah, he's doping out of that. Potentially dangerous.
That is one of the last spots where the karate fight could be hiding. It's not here
no.
either. That's the Baigan fight. Oh dear. And making things worse, Corey has found that D-Mist fight over here in the White Spear altar room. I mean, the good news here is that if Penguin8r was willing to reset out of the package, I think that seems to imply that he doesn't want to do any sort of really deep dives to try to find the karate. I think he's just going to try to pivot to try to find the Pink Dale, and if so, Dwarf Castle is standing out as the easy check at this point.
I think he goes giant before he goes dwarf at this point.
It's going to be a really interesting situation to see what he chooses in that case. Meanwhile, Corey is with double nukes. D-Mist has very little chance of surviving, gets through it, no problems. Gets that fourth objective lit up, going to get that crystal. We are in go mode, and guess what? We are right outside the Rome's door. We don't even need that pass.
Yeah, like we are fine.
Except that spoon for a little extra. Would be a little extra dark damage had he the edge. And we got a reset out of.
Back to the moon, he's gonna check that top spot.
This is unfortunate. That's going to be.
And profcory's even doing the swag walk.
Yeah, that's unfortunately, I think, going to put pay to it, because I think even if profcory takes an unfortunate wipe to maybe a Big Bang Meteor combo, he still should have enough time even to redo that Demus fight and still be able to clear out Z a second time before penguin8r gets on the right path, unfortunately.
Yeah, like I don't see this. Things would have to go very badly for penguin8r to have a chance here. But I see all these flags going out, and I think we need to fulfill the prophecy set out at the start of the seed and ask, how's that butt doing today?
That's right. We always ask who's the butt. We never ask how's the butt.
Yeah, and I mean, the butt is so important.
I mean, it's really a load-bearing butt when you think about it. It really, carries the entire operation.
It's true.
But yes, we have randomized the appearance of our final boss. Here's Aromas, and as soon as we throw out the crystal, we're going to find which of... I've lost count. I want to say over 600 sprites we're going to be blessed with today.
I don't think we're that high yet. I think we're just short of 530. But yeah, we keep adding them on one at a time now, so...
It'll be 600 before I know it, though, I'm sure. At the rate
I'm sure, yeah. Skellakitty is a machine. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have called you a machine.
It's her. Being graced by a little Chrono Trigger action tonight.
That is the Dream Devourer from the DS version.
That is really nice sprite work, as all the sprite works are, so shout out to Skellakitty for doing that for us. That is wonderful work.
And we are just doing some nukes.
Yeah, with the Porb, the Paladin, the Fu here. Certainly looks like we're doing the majority of our damage through Reflect, although we did throw that Avenger on Cecil.
Yeah, this just looks like standard hybrid. No reason to be fancy about it with these stats.
I mean, given the fact that Fu and Porm are a little low on the HP side, they'll survive this first Big Bang because it's been nerfed. But if you do end up facing a full power Big Bang, you don't want to try to manage the fight without at least one Berserker helping to clog the queue. Or we're just going to nuke them and just finish off the fight with Reflect strats. It's also a possibility.
Yeah, no, that also works. That is the power of being able to do math very quickly. People say you should never do math on stream, but you know what? For those who dare, you can win a little more quickly.
And well, that's not the ending shake. That's just a potential Big Bang there. Brown Elixir to help restore the MP totals of Fu. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, getting a full power Big Bang there. Didn't get the heal up, and so all of a sudden, Penguin8r has a second lease here on life because we had the swag walk earlier. He's gonna have to go through fighting Demist again. It's not gonna take too long. We saw how fast it took him the first time. It's still a little extra time leakage.
Yeah, still gonna be a lot of work for Penguin to catch up. He would basically have to head right to Dwarf or immediately find Karate. But this Mist Dragon fight is also gonna be a lot faster on profcory's side, just because it is now he's now got that Cecil using a defense sword rather than an Excel.
Penguin8r gets through the elements fight using the reflecting fire strats, finds just the sword rope there. Not the hook that he's looking for. This is getting more and more dire on his side. I'm sure he's feeling it right now.
Yeah. Gonna take this Asura next. Should go quite quickly. Like, this is a really nice job of placing his saves right outside of his the things that he fades. So he had one saved ready for doing each of the 3 bosses he left behind. Like, that is some really nice work on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was able to route it so that he was able to go right to each of these fights.
Yeah, just has each of, just drop a save outside each of them, and away he goes. profcory's got his crystal back.
So does he swag walk again, or does he save this time?
I think the second time he got this. Oh, no, he's swagging it.
I gotta respect the confidence after having one Z fight go poorly. Because you know what? That was an aberration. I had full confidence in my ability. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. Get the sand ruby. That's not what you want to see. I'm expecting we're going to see him go giant.
I mean, if he is fully committed to finding this karate, then getting the 2 boss checks on the giant, rather than trying to drive back down to.
Oh no, he's not. He's not doing giant.
I think he realizes where the hook has to be now. I think he's done literally everything else possible except for Dwarf Castle.
I think you're right. He's checked every other key item.
So
he's going to Dwarf.
Yeah. Obviously he knows he is in go mode at this point. He has the hooks, he has the pass, so he never has to go back
there,
up to the moon. So he's got a direct route. If this goes poorly for Cory again, we'd have a race on our hands.
Yeah.
We will see if Cory opts to change the strategy here again, try to finish off Zeromus with the Reflex strat, or keep up the Avengered Excal Cecil to do damage that way. More of a lower variance play, but will take a little bit longer.
Yeah, I don't think he changes his strat. Things just went south for a bit. That's all.
I think he was hoping for that one last Reflect cast to do the job, because he could have healed up his characters otherwise and probably survived that way during that fight. So I think he was probably just one low roll away from being Zeromus at that point.
Yeah, so my best guess there really is that if he were planning to change his strat, he'd have saved before he went in. Because, that's just kind of the feel I get where, if you're going to change things up, you're going to start changing things right there.
Yes. Penguin8r through the first fight here, gets to his Golbez with only 3 characters up, so that would mean this cut's going to take a little less time, and at this moment, seconds really count.
Yeah, absolutely.
profcory showing off that Cure 4 off that Curse Tell again, doing literally dozens of hit points of health recovery.
He's, you know what, I think he's allowed after all the good work he's done this seed.
Penguin8r is through the Golbez fight. No real damage, or no real danger there because the magic power there is so low. You didn't need to throw up a Star Veil. Going to be getting the hook. Going to be getting the pink tail. Going to be getting to his own Zero's fight soon. If Corey doesn't pull this out, it could very well come down to another Zeromus race.
Yeah, I don't think we see another wipe, though. I think if, we're going to see him be more careful on his timings than the last time.
It does look like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got much better HP levels here and is having, I think, just an overall better time here. I would not be surprised to see this fight over with in just a couple of minutes.
Pengu's still gotta pop that hovergraph there.
Literally, profcory is opting to keep Cecil upright for this fight. Going to be doing the standard hybrid strats. Safer, lower variance. It'll just take a little bit longer this way, though.
Yeah, and that's a perfectly reasonable decision there. Gets his rat tail. Gets his pink tail.
But profcory has defeated Zeromus. There is the crack, the boom, the shake. It is done. profcory has tied up this match with an official time of 1 hour, 45 minutes, 18 seconds. Wins game 2, forces a game 3.
Which, honestly, isn't that the thing that everybody except Penguin8r was hoping for?
I wouldn't say I was rooting for it because I tried to remain unbiased, but yeah, I'm very happy to see a third match between these two excellent racers.
Oh yeah, just like the comparable quality of play on both sides is, they were literally neck and neck for most of the seed, and I do believe we have profcory in here with us, so GG to you.
GG, thank you.
How do you like that Valid Baron?
I liked her enough that I decided I'm not coming back until I'm literally powerful enough to defeat the final boss of the game. Then I will defeat you, Valvalis.
That's the ultimate show of respect right there.
Right. The true final boss, or perhaps second only to really foolish improvised hybrid reflex strats.
I think you were really, really close to getting the Zeromus down the first time on the reflex strats. It just didn't work out. Were you worried that you might get pipped at the post by Penguinator when that happened?
Yep. I thought I was done. I thought that was the end of the tournament for me, especially because I knew that I had to fight Demist again, which is not a terribly speedy boss. And I was very frustrated because I knew that I had like a perfectly good hybrid strat just sitting right there. Cecil was hitting for cajillions of damage. I could have just stuck with the super safe thing. As I experienced the second attempt, I didn't even see a second Big Bang, I think. Or maybe I don't remember, but it was pretty fast. It was pretty good. Should have just done that right from the get-go. But you're exactly right. I was worried that Penguin8r was right on my tail. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something really fast here. The fastest possible Z fight I can do here would be to let Cecil whack until I can just drop him and then finish with reflected spells. So maybe that could have worked. It was... maybe if I'd been on battle speed 3 the first time, I was only on battle speed 2. So if I had done that, maybe it would have been possible. Maybe if I'd played it a little bit safer and made sure that I could heal up or tried to nerf a Big Bang. There were a few different ways I could have done it other than the way I did it. But I was like, you know what? Nothing I can do except to just plow ahead, get through the Demist again, go down, do the final boss like a normal human being, and just see what happens. And I got a little lucky, I think.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. The other thing too, like you two were absolutely like neck and neck through the entire seed. Like there was so little variance between what you two were doing right up until Penguin banked everything on there not being value at dwarf. And prize.
Yep. Which is funny because I think it's the first thing that I did when I got underground.
Yeah.
So but it's funny to hear that we did almost the same things because it's such a stark contrast to our first race. I guess it was only yesterday, so I won't spoil in case anybody wants to go back and see exactly what I mean. But that's funny to hear.
Yeah, like I wasn't thinking about that, but you are absolutely right.
Speaking of which, you had a pretty close race yesterday. You had what looks to be a pretty close race today. How are you feeling about your third race against Penguin8r?
I don't know. I guess I guess it's a coin flip in my head. Which maybe is pretentious of me. Penguin8r is a free enterprise tournament champion after all, but I feel like I've demonstrated enough in this tournament that I'm kind of on his level. So I'll do my best. If I can make it to the next round, then that'll be awesome. I'll know that I really earned it. And if I don't, then that's okay too. I know that I'll have played against some really strong competition along the way. If I had to think about what I'm rooting for, as far as like what kind of seed we play, that's a tough one. It's a tough one. I guess I'm waffling here. I'm hemming and hawing. I don't know what kind of seed I want tomorrow. We've had two pretty different ones so far. So just something that tests our skills. I guess that's the way I'll put it. Is I'd love a chance to try to flex on some tough situations and see who comes out on top.
Well, based on what I've seen so far, no matter what seed you get, I think you guys are going to put on another great race, and I'm really looking forward to it. Good luck with that, and GG's on tonight's race.
Thank you so much.
And we did just see Penguin8r finish up the race. Official time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, 43 seconds. GG to Penguin8r. We'll see if we get him in for a interview. In the meantime, I want to really thank Gambit, who started out the restream, but Shala Kitty, who subbed in as the restreamer, as well as Plumerian Knight, did a great job tracking as well. And of course, my co-commentator, Neon Gray.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And yes, absolutely thank you to both Gambit and Scala for stepping in here. And I do believe that'll be our Penguin8r coming in now.
GG.
Thank you.
So, karate.
Guess he doesn't exist.
No, it's just complete fiction.
Yeah, no such thing. How about that Golbez? Sitting
It's
there.
not the worst. I knew it was there right from going to Zot, which is part of why I didn't go to Dwarf Castle. And more so because I had the 2 boss hunts on the table. I didn't really want to do a dwarf check, which wouldn't be the fastest and wasn't going to reveal any unknown bosses directly. So I felt like I was better off pushing it, going to the moon, and more or less committing to not winning off Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, it's a perfectly reasonable call. But that doesn't mean it was the correct one.
Unfortunately, yes. Interestingly enough, as much as you faded Dwarf Castle, your opponent faded Baron for the longest time because of that nasty, nasty Val on the throne. How'd you feel about that fight, and how'd you feel after you got through it?
I was trying to do a mental calculation of was it worth it to push through, or what should I reset all the way back out, get some levels and come back. I thought the Cecil would do better, but he was only hitting like, I don't know, 1 in 5 times or something. I sort of had my equipment wrong. The biggest thing was not having both Poison Claws on Yang. So that kind of hurt, that he had less accuracy and less strength, which might have mattered depending on his breakpoint. But I think it was probably worth it. 'Cause if I had to reset, I have to go through everything again. I think it was like 5 or 6 minutes once I got everyone berserked. Which, I mean, reset out, do some slightly inefficient grinds, probably close. And of course, I was very fortunate. I felt that the pass and the darkness were there, so you had to go through Baron one way or the other.
Yeah, like that's, it's gonna take an undue amount of time, but it's gonna take an undue amount of time no matter what. Like, everybody's gonna do that.
Because you did get through that fight, you had access to the moon a lot earlier, and we thought that might have helped push you along towards, winning the race. Unfortunately, the karate was just nowhere to be found, and it was just unfortunate that that's just how things fell.
Yeah, it happens. Often you feel you have to commit to certain lines of play, and I think I played the odds fairly well, going for both boss and key item checks where I could. It turned out those weren't the right checks, but I don't feel bad about any of the decisions.
Yeah, like I have to say, like that was the way you had your saves placed at the end for those boss checks, the key item checks, like that was a really nice bit of work there.
The good news, if there is such good news, is that was not a must-win situation since you won last night. You're now 1-1, going to a deciding game 3. How are you feeling about that situation?
Well, I wanted to sleep in on Sunday, but I guess I can't now.
Best of luck in that game 3, and should you advance by selecting the tournament as well. And I'm sure the rest of chat is really looking forward to seeing another great race between you two, because so far you have served up two excellent races.
All right, thanks.
And I think that's going to do it for us here. Thanks everyone for watching. Once again, shout outs to Gambit and Scala Kitty for doing the restream, and Preliminary Night for tracking. Neon Gray, my co-commentator. And it looks like we are going to be sending you guys over to Fred Coughlin, who has just started up some free enterprise seed of his own. So please give him our best, and remember, no spoilers.